Hello, this is meteorologist Brad Warner from Region Weather Live, your YouTube source for weather across the Dakotas and Minnesota. And we're just going to do kind of a quick update tonight because the models are still they don't know what to do. They're still disagreeing with each other. They're fighting with each other. They're all mad and one's walked out the door and calling each other names. So what we're going to do is just kind of show you what some of the trends have been lately and just kind of, again, show you just a little bit of difference between the short range model and some of the longer range models and just kind of how they differ. So let's just take a look at what's going on possibly for Wednesday night into Thursday and Friday. And what we have going on is what we call the double-barreled low. That is two low-pressure systems kind of coming out of the Rockies at the same time. So this northern one wants to come out and create snow across northern parts of North Dakota and western South Dakota. But as time progresses and that low-pressure system further to the south exits out of the Rockies, it says, I got this. And it starts to absorb all that energy and moisture and begins to wrap it around that southern end. It essentially kind of stops that precipitation a little bit further to the north. So as we go into Wednesday night and more so into Thursday morning, you can see how that low pressure really sucks in the moisture, pulls that snow down into eastern portions of South Dakota, southern portions of Minnesota, and really begins to pull that focus further south. So then as we get into Thursday evening, Thursday night, and early parts of Friday morning, that particular low continues off to the east. We get some wraparound snow, tight gradients with some winds associated with it overnight, Thursday night. We'll call it more Thursday evening into Thursday night before it finally moves on out later Friday night. Now that was a longer range model, and a couple of those models are actually agreeing at this point. But this one is the short range model, and the short range model says, au contraire, bonjour. And this more northern part of the section remains dominant, keeping that snow across the north as we go into Wednesday evening and Wednesday night, and also bringing with it more warm air, bringing in more rain across portions of eastern Minnesota, and also sucking it into portions of Wisconsin and Michigan. Through Thursday morning, this one continues to dump snow across the northern parts of Minnesota. Now look what the second half, what this southern half does. Instead of bringing it into southeastern South Dakota, southern portions of Minnesota, this one brings the snow and just clips southeastern portions of Minnesota. Before that part of the system continues to move off to the east-northeast, we get a little bit of wraparound snow by Friday morning. This one does show a little bit of wind associated with it as well, but not much. And that's where you can see the differences. And for right now, the longer range models seem to be agreeing just a little bit better with each other, been a little more consistent run to run. So I think for now, we're going to kind of continue on that path and looking at what they have to say. What's more out of the split flow we've been having consistently is that this jet further to the south has consistently been the stronger portion of these storms. So that's where I think it's going to allow this moisture to come in and get sucked up and really drive that southern portion of the storm into kind of that southeast South Dakota, southern Minnesota, as opposed to allowing some of that moisture to remain up across the north and dumping way more snow up there. So I think this southern edge is going to be the more dominant one. So what that means essentially, if we follow some of these other longer range models, is as we get into the Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday evening time frame, we're going to see the snow kind of increase across North Dakota and western South Dakota. And we might even see some areas of freezing drizzle and or freezing rain across southern portions of North Dakota and northern parts of South Dakota. But then as we go through the night, that's where that energy begins to transfer down to the south, kind of sucking away the moisture and the snow further to the north and just transporting it down to that southern system. And that system really gets going throughout the day on Thursday. So throughout Thursday morning and into early Thursday afternoon, we're looking at rain across southern Minnesota, southeastern parts of Minnesota, and we're still just following that possibility at least of maybe some heavy snow just creeping into the southeast around that Sioux Falls, Yankton, Sioux City area. Perhaps that line in between could have a brief period of some freezing rain or sleet. As we continue to go through the day on Thursday and that low pressure continues to move off to the east, we're going to continue to suck in the cold air behind it. That snow line is going to push east. That area of freezing rain, sleet, and then just that general area of rain will move off to the east. Now, this is occurring throughout the afternoon hours on Thursday, which means it's possible that that rain might hang on just a little longer than what these models are saying. I mean, we are getting to the mid the end of March. So I don't know if the models have a very good handle on exactly how long some of that warmer air will hang around. So just keep that in mind. Some of you areas might just hang around, might hang on to that rain just a little bit longer than what the model is currently forecasting. But eventually, I think as we get into Thursday night, that snow will wrap around and complete its tour on the backside of that storm system, bringing snow across eastern portions of Minnesota throughout the night, Thursday night. And here we are early Friday morning by 9 a.m. where we just got some snow left into the northeast. And maybe the only thing really left to talk about at this point Friday morning is going to be the possibility of some stronger winds, particularly across the southern portions of Minnesota, where we're going to be looking at that snow that did fall will be blowing around Friday morning, causing all kinds of snow blasting and just a mess. There's going to be a lot of BS, a lot of blowing snow going on across southern Minnesota come Friday morning. But it looks like as time goes along on Friday, those winds will gradually subside, especially as we go into Friday night and early Saturday morning. So that's just a general timeline, a general area of what we're generally thinking right now with this storm as we go Wednesday night into Thursday. There's so much that needs to be worked out. And at this point, I'm not ready at all to give any kind of snowfall forecast, just because the model I showed you is just a little bit different from another longer range model. I showed you how completely different it is from the short range model, which you would think by this point should have a little better handle on things, but I'm not quite comfortable with it just yet. So we'll continue to monitor. So make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. Make sure you've subscribed. Hit the bell button along with it, because we'll keep you updated. I'm going to keep you updated over the next couple of days, and I'll watch the storms and I'll keep you updated as the models come in, and we'll see how this progresses, and we'll nail it down as we get closer to Wednesday night. All right, everybody, that's really all I got for you right now. We'll keep an eye on this next one, and we'll see exactly how it progresses. And unfortunately, that's the best I can do for now. So keep checking back in with the latest. So for Region Weather Live, I'm meteorologist Brad Warner, and everybody have a good day.